Hi folks, HR Funk here with my recalcitrant Ruger 1022. If you've been keeping up with this series, you know that several months ago I made some changes to this rifle. It started out as a basic Ruger 1022 carbine, and I switched out the stock with this Fab Defense stock and also swapped out the original factory barrel with this Tactical Solutions X-Ring barrel. And since that time I've been testing the accuracy with this system, and the accuracy has never quite lived up to my expectations. And I've gone through a number of different types of 22 long rifle ammunition, everything from target and match loads all the way to bulk packed loads, to try to figure out something that will give me the type of accuracy that I was expecting or hoping for with this system when I put it together. After my last test, when I went back to the shop, I started to think about the rifle, and I started to wonder if maybe the issues that I'm seeing were not necessarily ammunition related, but they are actually somehow related to the system itself. So I contacted Tactical Solutions and I got a hold of one of their technical advisors, and I spoke to him, very nice gentleman. I explained what was going on, said that I'm constantly seeing these flyers. I'll get 3 or 4 shots in a 5-shot group that are in a pretty close cluster, and then all of a sudden I'll get 1 or 2 flyers that are way out from the rest of the group. And he made a couple of suggestions. One of the things he actually offered to check out the entire system if I wanted to send it to Tactical Solutions, and I thought that was very generous, but I really don't want to go to that extreme quite yet. So I asked him if there was anything that he could tell me to check with the system itself, and one of the things that he mentioned was the thread protector here at the end of the barrel. He said that sometimes these will come loose and it'll change the barrel harmonics enough that you will start to see flyers from the rest of the group. So when I shoot these groups today, I'm going to do it without the thread protector in place. I have noticed a couple of times when I've checked this after shooting that it's come loose. So I'm going to shoot it today without the thread protector there at all and see if that makes any difference. Also, he mentioned that sometimes when the stock is changed to an aftermarket stock, like my Fab Defense here, that the factory stock bolt is sometimes long enough that it will touch the barrel shank coming through from the bottom of the receiver, and also that will affect barrel harmonics, again causing the occasional flyer. So I did swap out the factory stock bolt, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not, for a Volquartsen aftermarket stock bolt that I think is a little bit shorter, and that cost me all of about $5. They're not very expensive, so I wanted to try that as well. And I also started to wonder about the optic that I was using. Now previously I had the Redfield TAC MOA scope on here, which is a good scope, but it's intended for a larger rifle that's going to be fired at greater distances. And it doesn't have a parallax adjustment that'll allow me to dial the parallax or the focus all the way back to the distance where I'm trying to zero this system, which is 50 yards. So I contacted my friends at Hilux Leatherwood and I informed them of the difficulties that I was having, and they generously sent me one of their brand new Pentalux TAC 5 scopes, and this is a 4-20 by 50, and look for a review of this scope coming up. It may be out by the time you see this video. If not, it will be out soon. And this scope will focus all the way down to 25 yards, so I'll have no problem adjusting the parallax and the focus down to 50 yards. The mount that I had on the system before was really intended for an AR, and as such it mounted the scope pretty high above the bore. So I swapped that out, and I now have a set of Vortex tactical rings on the system that mounts the scope lower to the bore and also closer to where my eye naturally lines up with the ocular lens. So I'm hoping that will help as well. Lastly, a new enhancement to this came by way of my friends at Optics Planet. They sent me this Fab Defense Spike Precision bipod to be able to use on this system, and this is going to be the first time using it. I will also be doing an independent review of the bipod, but now I'm going to set things up, zero this new scope, and then see what kind of accuracy I can get with these further enhancements that I've made to this carbine. The ammunition for today's test is going to be Wolf Match Target. I've had good luck with this ammunition over the years in some other rifles, so I wanted to stick with something that was at least known to me in terms of its accuracy potential, and I decided to use this. Also, one thing that hasn't changed on this rifle is the factory trigger group. So I'm still battling that fairly heavy factory trigger, which is okay for field use, but for precision shooting, it's definitely on the heavy and a little bit gritty side. So sooner or later, I'm hoping to swap that out for something that's going to work a little bit better, but for now, I'm still using that factory trigger. Folks, another change that I made was to my shooting technique. Now, as I said earlier, this is the original factory trigger, and I'm really having to fight that thing to try to place precise shots on the target. So what I have done is something I learned a long time ago. I'm actually putting my trigger finger all the way into this second knuckle, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on the trigger or not, but I have it all the way through there, and I'm using that to get extra leverage on that heavy trigger and try to place those shots a little bit better. So that might be helping a little bit also. Now I'm going to fire three-shot groups. So here we go. Okay, folks, I think what we're going to see now is my continuing battle with that trigger. This was my very first shot that time around, and it went low and left. As you see, my next two shots are very good, right there within a little over a quarter of an inch center to center, probably 3/8 of an inch, something like that, center to center. Then I came up here and I've got two shots almost through the same exact hole. This one is about probably a little less than a 1/2 inch to the right. So we're seeing good consistency. Then I came down here and this was my first shot. Then I put these two shots on that are within easily a 1/2 inch center to center. I decided to give this group one more shot, and I pulled that one over here. And I really think what we're seeing now is me fighting that trigger just to try to put precise shots on target. When I manage good trigger control, I'm seeing good consistent accuracy, and when I don't, then we're seeing those shots start to wander. But this is some of the best performance I've seen out of this rifle yet, and my next step is going to be to do some work on, or probably just replace that trigger. So there you go, folks. Slowly, very slowly, I'm starting to see the accuracy that I want out of this system. I think I just need to keep working with it, keep eliminating those different variables, and like I said, the trigger is the next thing that I want to take a look at. And that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, as always, make sure you forward those to me. Remember, if you purchase anything from Optics Planet, be sure to use my discount code, which is... And if you use that discount code, it's good for 5% off anything you purchase from Optics Planet. Also remember, WarbirdBunker.com is making t-shirts for the channel. If you go to WarbirdBunker.com, you can find my t-shirt there, and there are a lot of others that Nathan offers that are all firearms and patriotic themed. So, until next time, folks, good shooting. Bye-bye.